احنا تعبنا.
Video 1. A high-rise building was destroyed in seconds. Video 2. This is the moment when an Islamic university was bombed and flattened. Video 3. A cyclist rushes for his life as buildings get destroyed behind him. Here is another video. A displaced Gazan mother and her children are seen leaving their bombed home behind. Missiles after missiles, smoke billows over Gaza City as Israeli strikes hit several residential buildings. This is the reality in Gaza, where homes, schools and markets have been reduced to rubble. Several hospitals and universities have come under attack. Every airstrike leaves more families displaced, forced to leave behind what little they had left. Israel has regularly said it takes steps to avoid hitting civilians. Israel says it is seeking to eliminate Hamas, which attacked southern Israel from Gaza in 2023, and free hostages still held by the group. Israel announced the start of its long-awaited ground operation into Gaza City on the 16th of September. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, in a post on X, said, "Gaza is burning." He further wrote, "The IDF strikes with an iron fist at the Hamas infrastructure, and IDF soldiers are fighting bravely to create the conditions for the release of the hostages and the defeat of Hamas." But as the Israeli military pushes further, the human toll keeps rising. For many, it means constantly moving from one place to another. For them, a shelter today may be unsafe tomorrow. How many buildings have actually been destroyed in Gaza? Why is Israel targeting civilian infrastructures? What are the designated displacement zones in Gaza? And what about the relocation plan? We explain all these and more on WION Wide Angle this week. Al-Ghafri Tower, the tallest building in the Gaza Strip, was leveled to the ground on the 15th of September, shortly after the Israeli army issued an evacuation notice. The 20-story high-rise located in western Gaza City housed press offices for international and local news agencies. The Israeli military claims the building hid Hamas infrastructure. Footage captured the terrifying moment when the tower collapsed, which sparked concern and outcry among local residents.
When the tower was struck next to us, my tent was completely destroyed and nothing was left. At the same time, we cannot flee to the south because we don't even have the money. As you can see, I have an amputation and it's very difficult for me to move.
Al-Ghafri Tower was one of Gaza City's landmarks. They are trying to erase the national and historical landmarks in Gaza City by targeting towers, mosques and churches in an attempt to empty the city of its residents and terrify them.
On the 15th of September, Palestinians searched through the rubble of the Al-Jundi Al-Mahjoul building in Gaza City. which was hit by Israel a day before. The attack on this residential complex forced dozens of families who lived here into displacement. Residents said they were given evacuation orders shortly before the strikes.
Around 6:50 p.m., they gave us around half an hour to evacuate, hardly any time. We managed to take what we could of clothes and furniture, then the tower was completely blown up, as you can see.
It's been 2 years. Next month it will be 2 years. No one is finding a solution. Even the United States is not standing on our side. On screen is different than behind the scenes. What can we do? We only have God to stand with us.
A day before, an Israeli strike targeted another residential center, the Mohanna multi-story building in Gaza City. As locals watched from a distance, the building was used to shelter displaced families in Gaza. Israel claimed that civilian occupants were warned in advance and that the building was being used by Hamas. According to the Palestinian Civil Defense, at least 50 multi-story buildings have been destroyed in recent weeks. Some neighborhoods have faced near total destruction. In Gaza City's Zaytun area alone, more than 1,500 homes and buildings have been destroyed since early August. According to the Palestinian authorities, the demolition has forced 80% of Al Zaytun's residents to migrate to western or northern areas of Gaza City. Gaza City currently shelters approximately 1 million Palestinians. Humanitarian organizations warn that Israel's takeover of Gaza would devastate a population already experiencing widespread malnutrition. According to a UN report published in April, approximately 92% of all residential buildings in Gaza, which is around 436,000 homes, have been damaged or destroyed since the start of the war. 78% of all structures, too, are destroyed or damaged as of July. 88% of the 48,987 assessed entities in the commerce and industry sector in Gaza have been demolished. And 62% of the total road network has been ruined. Israel already controls 75% of Gaza, while the UN estimates some 86% of the territory is either in militarized zones or under evacuation orders. Israel launched the main stage of its ground offensive on Gaza City on the 16th of September. It is one of the most significant escalations of the conflict so far. Satellite images captured showed destruction in Gaza as Israel launched ground assault. According to the Palestinian authorities, more than 64,000 people have been killed since the launch of Israel's nearly 2-year-long war against Hamas. It was prompted by Hamas's attack on Israel in October 2023, in which 1,200 people were killed on Israel's soil and 251 others taken hostage. Tanks, military helicopters, and smoke were seen at the border between Israel and Gaza. Ground troops are moving deeper into the city, towards its center. Israel's security cabinet has already approved a strategy to take control of the city. A move, it says, is essential to dismantle what it calls Hamas's last stronghold. But Gaza City is not just a battleground. Before the war, it was home to hundreds of thousands of people and served as the most populous urban center in the enclave. Now, much of its civilian infrastructure has been destroyed, and residents are once again being urged to leave. The strikes and bombardments have intensified, with Gaza health officials reporting dozens of civilian casualties in the opening hours of the offensive. Israel maintains that its focus is on Hamas targets, but the destruction of buildings, homes, and critical infrastructure has raised global concerns.
Israel is bombing is destroying, including by using unconventional weapons that we've never seen before and newly assembled weapons. Is destroying entire neighborhoods, remnants of buildings where people were seeking shelter, really. It's trying to forcibly evacuate the 800,000 Palestinians who were seeking refuge there. But the question is, why? Why? Because this is the last piece of Gaza that needs to be rendered unlivable before advancing the ethnic cleansing of that piece of land. And then probably they will move to the West Bank.
The United Nations has warned that Israel's push into Gaza City could result in further forced displacement on a massive scale, and world leaders have voiced fears of mounting civilian deaths. Inside Israel, the plan has also faced opposition, not only from some military officials, but also from families of hostages who worry about the consequences of such an offensive.
We came here last night. We heard the bombs are getting stronger all over Gaza. Our children are there. The Prime Minister Netanyahu, instead of saving our children, is bombing them. He doesn't want negotiation. He wants them to come back not alive and disappear there.
We arrived late last night to send a clear and straight message to the government and, of course, the Prime Minister of Israel. We will not leave this place until you give us all our loved ones back. It has been way, way, way too long, and you can't drag your feet any longer. If you don't stop the war now and bring back all the hostages, you will be responsible for the death and the disappearance of all the remaining hostages, dead and alive. Bring them back today. There is no time to waste anymore.
At the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war, Gaza had a population of about 2.3 million people. It is divided into 5 regions: North Gaza, Gaza City, Deir el-Balah, Khan Yunis, and Rafah. Bordered by Israel and Egypt on the Mediterranean coast, the strip is about 365 square kilometers. The district of North Gaza shares a 10-kilometer-long border with Israel. The Gaza Strip is surrounded by a heavily fortified border consisting of a concrete wall and doubled wired fencing. The Israeli army patrols Gaza's northern and eastern borders. The Beit Hanun crossing, known as Iris to Israelis and managed by the Israeli army, is Gaza's only northern crossing into Israel. Gaza City is the largest and most populous city within the Gaza Strip, with more than 700,000 residents. Rimal, Shujaya, and Tel Hawa are among its most well-known neighborhoods. And at the heart of the Rimal neighborhood is Al-Shifa Hospital, the largest medical facility in the Gaza Strip. The Shati refugee camp, also known as Beach Camp, is located along Gaza's Mediterranean coastline and is the third largest out of the Gaza Strip's 8 camps. Deir el-Balah, named after the monastery of the date palm, Deir el-Balah is one of Gaza's largest agricultural producers. It is also home to 4 refugee camps: Nuseirat, Al-Bureij, Al-Maghazi, and Deir el-Balah. Gaza's only operating power plant is located along the district's boundary with Gaza City. Khan Yunis. The district of Khan Yunis is home to some 400,000 people. At its center is the Khan Yunis refugee camp, home to about 87,000 people. Rafah is the southernmost district of Gaza with a population of more than 250,000. The Rafah border crossing is the only crossing point between Egypt and the Gaza Strip. Both Israel and Egypt have kept their borders largely shut. In 2020, the Rafah crossing and the Erez crossing into Israel were open for only 125 days, according to the UN. In Gaza, displacement has become the new normal. Almost all of Gaza's 2.3 million population has been displaced ever since the war began in 2023. According to CARE International, over 86% of Gaza now falls within Israeli militarized zones or areas placed under displacement orders. With every new strike or ground incursion, families are forced to move again. On the 9th of September, Israel issued an order urging 1 million people from Gaza City to move to the south. Israel claims these orders are part of its military campaign to eliminate Hamas.
במקביל, כוחותינו פועלים בעזה, בעיר עזה, במטרה כמובן להשיג את הכרעת האויב, אבל במקביל גם לפנות את האוכלוסייה. ואנחנו עושים מאמצים כרגע לפתוח צירים נוספים כדי לאפשר פינוי מהיר יותר של האוכלוסייה העזתית, להפריד אותם מהטרוריסטים שאותם אנחנו רוצים לתקוף.
As Israel intensifies its attacks, humanitarian agencies warn that the shrinking space for civilians is creating a crisis within a crisis. The displacement zones are overcrowded, under-resourced, and in some cases have themselves come under fire.
The whole world screams for peace. Palestinians, Israelis scream for peace. Everyone wants an end to this. And what we see is a further escalation, which is totally and utterly unacceptable. For the people of Gaza, they cannot sustain yet another intensification of violence and destruction and killings and lack of humanitarian assistance that needs to come in.
According to IDF, around 350,000 people fled Gaza City by the 16th of September. But what are these displacement zones that Gazans are being forced to move to? Let's take a look. Al-Mawazi. One of the main relocation areas is Al-Mawazi, a coastal strip in southern Gaza. It covers nearly 9 square kilometers and was designated by Israel as a safe zone. But UN officials say it lacks basic infrastructure. Clean water, sanitation, and medical facilities are stretched to the limit. Its population density has surged as tens of thousands arrived, turning the area into a congested camp. Deir al-Balah, located in central Gaza. Deir al-Balah has the smallest refugee camp. The zone includes vital infrastructure like wells, a reservoir, and a desalination plant. According to the UN, these infrastructures are the lifelines of Gaza. However, the zone suffers from overcrowding and repeated trauma among the displaced. Rafah is the southernmost city in the Gaza Strip. In 2024, 1 million Palestinians fled to Rafah to escape Israel's bombardment. According to the Palestinian authorities, almost all of Rafah has been demolished by Israel. Displaced Palestinians are now heading southward, some on foot and others in vehicles. People carried their belongings as they moved across a coastal area in central Gaza from Gaza City.
We did not sleep at night, and this is everything I own. This is all I have. I left with this. Today, I came walking from 6 o'clock, and here I am walking, heading to the unknown. I swear we do not know where to go to. We are going to the unknown. We left from heavy bombardment in the Gaza Strip all day and night long. They destroyed a lot of towers.
I am from Al-Jalaa. There is no transportation. I do not want to leave Gaza. I do not want to leave my home. I want to sit in my house. We cannot but flee. We will spend our life fleeing. We are always displaced. Displacement is our destiny.
We left from the west of Gaza and we will go to the Deir el-Bala on foot, as there are no vehicles or anything to help us. And as you can see here, we are sleeping on the coastal street.
Back in July, Israel's defense minister Israel Katz put forward a proposal for relocating Gaza's population into designated camps in the southern part of the Strip. The plan immediately drew international criticism, with legal experts warning it could breach international humanitarian law. At the center of the proposal is what Katz has called a humanitarian city to be built on the ruins of Rafah. Under the plan, Palestinians would undergo security screenings before entering, and once inside would not be allowed to leave. But how realistic is this plan? Some Israeli officials dismissed it as political signaling. Far-right Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir suggested the relocation idea was unlikely to be realized and may have been floated only to justify a ceasefire. The relocation plan introduced in July remains deeply divisive. Hamas has rejected the idea and called it blatant deception. For Palestinians, the relocation plan raises fears of permanent displacement. For Israel, it is framed as a security necessity.
We call on the United Nations to stand with us and stop the series of displacement that is going to happen with us. We are very, very tired. By God, we are really very tired of what is happening in the Gaza Strip. We are sick of wars, sick of leaving. We are sick of having to move from one place to another every other day. We can barely manage our lives in Gaza Strip.
You need at least 500 shekels just to be displaced, and you need 1,000 or even 1,500 shekels for a tent. And this displacement, I don't like it. For me, this displacement is unacceptable. Where would we go? For God's sake, we don't want to get displaced. Let us die here. It is better and more honorable for us.
Overwhelmed by the influx of casualties caused by the continuation of Israeli airstrikes and bombardments, hospitals in Gaza are enduring a catastrophic collapse of the healthcare system. From hospitals to streets, chaos can be seen everywhere. As you can see here, Israeli army drops evacuation leaflets over Gaza City as it begins the main phase of its ground offensive in the area. Gaza remains at the heart of a war with no easy end. Israel calls its actions a fight against Hamas, while Palestinians continue to live with loss and displacement. As the dust settles over destroyed neighborhoods, one question lingers. What future can emerge from the rubble?